The grand lights of America's Got Talent sparkled like stars inside the massive theater. Thousands of people filled the seats, waiting for the next act. The stage looked enormous, its shiny floor reflecting the glow of the AGT logo. A young boy, around 13 years old, slowly walked out from behind the curtain. His name was Ethan, a Filipino kid with a shy smile and hopeful eyes. His small hands gripped the microphone tightly, and his steps were unsure but full of quiet determination. The audience went silent as he approached center stage. The judges, Simon Cowell, Sofia Vergara, Heidi Klum, and Howie Mandel, looked at him curiously. Simon leaned forward and asked gently, "Hello, young man. What's your name?" Ethan replied softly, his voice barely above a whisper, "My name is Ethan, I came all the way from the Philippines." The crowd applauded instantly, impressed by his courage to stand on such a big stage, far from home. Sophia smiled warmly, "That's beautiful. What made you come here?" Ethan took a small breath and answered, "My mama always believed I could sing. She told me that dreams don't have borders. I just want to make her proud." His innocence melted everyone's hearts. Even Simon's usually sharp face softened. There was something pure in the boy's voice, a mix of fear, hope, and faith. Then the music began. The familiar, timeless melody of Elvis Presley's "Can't Help Falling in Love" filled the hall. For a second, Ethan closed his eyes, steadying his shaking hands. The crowd watched in perfect silence. At first, his voice was quiet, a little nervous. But then something magical happened. As he sang the words, "Wise men say, only fools rush in," his tone grew stronger, smoother, more confident. The timid boy standing alone on that giant stage began to transform. His voice carried emotion that seemed far beyond his years, rich, soulful, and heartbreakingly beautiful. The camera cut to the audience, people were already wiping away tears. The judges exchanged looks of amazement. It was as if no one expected this sound, this golden voice, to come from such a small, humble boy. As the song continued, Ethan's mother could be seen backstage, her hands clasped together, tears streaming down her cheeks. Every note he sang was a love letter to her. The final words echoed through the hall, soft but powerful. When the music faded, a moment of silence hung in the air, then the crowd erupted into thunderous applause. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. He had done it, he had touched every heart in that room. From the very first note, it was clear that this wasn't just another audition, it was something special. Ethan's voice didn't just sound good, it carried emotion, history, and soul. His tone was smooth like velvet but filled with the kind of maturity you'd expect from an old soul. As he sang, "Take my hand, take my whole life too," his voice echoed across the hall, sending chills through the audience. Simon's jaw dropped slightly, it was rare for him to look so completely mesmerized. Heidi covered her mouth, unable to believe what she was hearing. Sophia pressed her hand to her heart. And then, something unexplainable happened. Everyone seemed to forget they were watching a competition. They were simply experiencing a moment of pure magic. Ethan's voice carried the weight of sincerity. Every note was wrapped in feeling, every word seemed to come straight from his soul. The audience swayed with the rhythm, many closing their eyes as if lost in a dream. The cameraman zoomed in on the boy's face. His eyes glistened with emotion, his brow furrowed with concentration, and his lips trembled slightly as he poured everything inside him into the song. He no longer looked like a nervous child. On that stage, under the soft golden lights, he seemed transformed, a young artist channeling something divine. The judges whispered to each other in disbelief. Simon leaned toward Sophia and said quietly, "He sounds like he's been singing for 50 years. That voice, it's timeless." When Ethan reached the high note, the theater fell utterly silent. The power in his voice, rich and steady, rose above the music, giving everyone goosebumps. It wasn't just a song anymore. It was a story of love, faith, and a son's promise to his mother. Backstage, his mother was crying uncontrollably, covering her mouth in disbelief as she watched her son conquer one of the biggest stages in the world. When the song ended, Ethan held the microphone close to his chest, tears glistening on his cheeks. The silence was quickly broken by the loudest standing ovation of the night. People were on their feet, clapping, shouting his name, cheering with joy. Simon smiled, a rare, genuine smile, as he looked at the boy. In that moment, everyone knew something unforgettable had just happened. The theater shook with applause. Ethan stood on stage, eyes wide, still trying to believe what had just happened. Golden light shimmered across his face. Simon Cowell stood up, his expression a mix of awe and emotion. He wasn't just impressed, he was moved. Simon took a deep breath, looked at Ethan, and said into the mic, "Ethan, I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't think I've ever seen someone so young carry so much heart in their voice. You didn't just sing, you made us feel something real." The audience clapped again, shouting, "Golden buzzer! Golden buzzer!" Simon turned to the other judges, then slowly reached forward. He slammed his hand down on the golden buzzer. In an instant, the stage exploded with gold confetti. The crowd went wild, screaming, crying, cheering louder than ever. Ethan gasped, covering his face as the golden rain fell around him. He looked like a boy standing in a dream. Backstage, his mother screamed with joy and rushed out, running straight into his arms on stage. They hugged tightly under the raining confetti, both crying uncontrollably. Cameras flashed everywhere, the judges stood applauding, and Simon walked up to the boy with a proud smile. He placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder and said warmly, "You are a star. And I think Elvis would be proud of you tonight." Ethan tried to speak but couldn't, his voice was choked with emotion. Instead, he smiled through his tears and whispered, "Thank you, sir, thank you for believing in me." The crowd began chanting his name, "Ethan, Ethan, Ethan," as golden lights bathed the stage in a heavenly glow. The other judges joined Simon on stage, hugging the young boy and his mother. Sophia wiped her eyes, saying, "That was the most emotional moment we've had this season." Simon looked into the camera and said, "This is why we do this show, to find voices like his, hearts like his." As the music swelled and confetti continued to fall, Ethan raised his hands to the audience, smiling through tears. His dream had come true. He wasn't just a contestant anymore, he was a symbol of hope, courage, and the power of believing in yourself no matter where you come from. It was truly AGT's most emotional golden buzzer moment, one that would be remembered for years to come.